I think naming myself the greatest Spider-Man fan of all time would be a pretty bold move, but in my heart, I truly feel like it belongs to me. Not because I've read the most Spider-Man or I know the most about the character, but this trailer affected me in such a personal way. I don't ever think I'll see anything in my life as beautiful as this. On my wedding day, my wife will be in tears because I'll look at her and say, meh, the Spider-Man Homecoming trailer was better than what you're providing me right now. And that may seem like a big, bold jump for such a insignificant thing, but I am extremely excited about this movie. Spider-Man is such a deeply personal character for me. I've loved him since I was a child, like most people. And I feel like he's finally being done justice. I feel like with Tobey Maguire, we had a wonderful Peter Parker, and with Andrew Garfield, we had a wonderful Spider-Man. But with Tom Holland, I feel like we're finally going to get somebody who is both. And that is incredibly important for this kind of character. All sarcastic gushing aside, this was an amazing trailer. I think this alone I'd rather see than any of the previous Marvel movies. Once again, that's a bit of a stretch, but it's wonderful. It's just a wonderful piece of artwork, truly. I mean, if my wife gives birth to a DVD copy of Spider-Man Homecoming in the future, I think I'd be happier than if it was a baby. Just being honest with you. But anyways, let's get into the trailer. At the very first glance, we see something that is a bit peculiar. It looks like some sort of tracker or tracer, I believe that's what it's being called, that erupts from the spider on Spider-Man's chest. Now, it doesn't really show what it does, because immediately after that we switch to a shot of the Vulture on an airplane, basically knocking Peter Parker into a giant death trap of a plane engine. After that, we have Peter running through the streets and putting on his suit, which has that cool vacuum seal effect that we saw in the previous trailer. I think it's an amazing idea, just because it seems incredibly impractical to have to peel that skin-tight suit on and off of your body every time you need to get into action. Then we see this man doing some crazy flippy-dippy tricks, and he hits him with that cool little pose, and he just acts like the Spider-Man that we all want, with some little quips, some little witty quips, which is something that you'll see a lot during this trailer, and I'm assuming is going to happen a lot during the movie. If it doesn't, I'll run out of there screeching and bang my head into the concrete until I can't see anymore, like Daredevil Noir. Next, we see Peter Parker and Tony Stark having a heart-to-heart mentor conversation. A lot of people are upset that Iron Man is in this movie, but I don't really mind as long as he's just the background mentor character as opposed to a large force. He basically tells Peter that he doesn't need to worry about being a grand world-saving superhero like the rest of the Avengers, and just worry about being the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man and keeping his feet on the ground, which is a wonderful point. I think it's a good place to put the character right now, especially since he's new to the MCU and he's not really an Avenger yet. His biggest accomplishment at this point is kicking Ant-Man in the face, or whatever he did in Civil War. I had too many tears of joy in my eyes to really see what was going on. Then we see what is essentially Miles Morales' best friend betraying him for Peter Parker, which is, they're just broing around with Spidey, just being homies. They make a little snarky comments about how Spider-Man jacked Captain America's shield. Then we have the Vulture. We have Batman 1989 talking about some crazy stuff. It's not really anything significant. He's just doing one of those rich people are bad things where we're the lowest common denominator and they hate us because we're the 99% and they're up there being all rich like Tony Stark. La blah. No, but in all actuality, he seems like he's going to be a pretty good villain. We seem to get into his headspace a little bit, see why he does what he does. We even see Donald Glover playing, who I'm hoping is like a relative to Miles Morales. Not just because they're both black, even though that's totally why it is, but that'd be cool. Even though Miles Morales is definitely not going to be in the MCU, just because they already gave his best friend to Peter, and it just, unless they kill off Peter, which would make me grab my foot, tear it off, and force it down the person next to me's throat. No, I don't really care who Donald Glover is playing. I'm assuming he's like the leader of the little gang they have going on. I'm thinking the gang is like a shocker gang or something, just because we've seen multiple people using the shocker gloves, and they all have that cool yellow padding that Shocker does, and I think the Vulture has some weapons ring thing going on. That's what I'm assuming. I'm thinking the Vulture, his plan is basically stealing all these high-powered weapons and giving them out to the gang so they can control something, because rich people are bad, and Jews, something about Jews probably. I mean, I'm I mean, probably. Then my boy jumps down on the ship, has more quips, more wit. Bro, he's talking about breaking up a weapons ring, so I'm pretty sure I'm right. I'm pretty sure they're smuggling weapons. Then he does this cool web trick where, like, a car door just launches this dude. It's wild. It's a wild experience. It's truly a spiritual moment for anybody. Then we see my boy Vulture just a gliding, using one of those crazy high-powered weapons to split the ship down the middle like it's butter or something. And then we see Spider-Man just darting to and from, genuinely concerned for the lives of these people, mumbling no, no, or whatever to himself. And then he uses his web lining to connect the boat together, then pulls it together in this crazy, awesome scene that rivals the train scene from Spider-Man 2. Then just a bunch of missiles, man. Just crazy missiles, dog. Just flying to this ship. And then we see Iron Man in a suit that looks a lot like Ultimate Iron Man, which might be a stretch, but I've been reading a lot of the Ultimate Universe right now, and it's very fresh in my mind. And together, they pull the ship together, which is fine. I didn't really want Iron Man to have such a big part in the movie, but yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. Then the two of them have what I assume is a very heartfelt discussion. It comes off as kind of cheesy, and when he's like, "I want to be like you," and then he says, "You gotta be better." Like, that seems kind of phoned in, but it's fine. Once again, it makes sense. Everything in this movie that I have complaints about so far seems to make sense. And then he tells him that he wants to take the suit. Spider-Man says, "Without the suit, I'm nothing." Tony Stark says something that I think resonates very well. He says, "If you are nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't wear it." I think that really speaks to Spider-Man as a character. He doesn't have to be this crazy, like, amazing, technologically advanced superhero a la Tony Stark. He can just be himself, and it's enough. And through his own power, through his own wit, through his own intelligence, his own strength, he can solve all the problems he needs to. Which, then we have a bit of a over monologue by Aunt Thickums telling Peter that he doesn't need to carry the weight of the world on his shoulders, that, he needs to stop being so stressed out, which is incredibly interesting coming from somebody who doesn't literally have the world on his shoulders, or the weight of a boat on his shoulders. Then we see more Vulture telling him, he'll do anything for his family, and Peter should understand that. Maybe he knows who Peter is. Maybe he doesn't. But all I know is that they kick each other's butts. Shocker, one of the Shockers attacks Peter, throws him through a bus. Peter does some cool little flippy flips over Vulture's wing. That's pretty dope. And then Vulture basically, causes him some harm. He steps on his chest. Very rude. Very rude. Then we see my boy Peter getting smooch on with that beautiful goddess, Liz Allen. Did I say beautiful goddess? Did I say that out loud? Did I say that out loud? So he kisses Liz Allen in what I hope is not a dream sequence. And then we see MJ, Michelle, whoever Zendaya is playing. All I know is Zendaya is like, "Yo, Spidey, my dudes are up there, so if you could go help them, that'd be cool as heck." We see the little spider tracer again. More old clips from the old trailers. Then Peter says that, I have to do this on my own. He flies through the skies attached to Vulture, which looks super cool. It's got to be super crazy. This whole time he's wearing his old suit. Then he webs onto a plane and does just about the single coolest thing you can do while on the back of a plane, and that is steer it using the webs. It's so sensationally cool. All in all, I think this was a wonderful trailer. It really showed what we wanted to see from Spider-Man, and it didn't give too much away. A big complaint I saw in the comments was that this was revealing too much of the story, which I can see that complaint being valid, but I'm still super excited to see where the story goes, see what happens. And as much as I may sound like I'm overhyped, I'm really trying to stay moderately reasonable about this, just because I'm very passionate about this character. I love this character, and it's one that I really want to see done well, especially in the MCU. It was a miracle that they even got him back, and I'm glad that the people who have treated all their characters right and cast all their characters perfectly, given this kind of character. If Marvel messes up their flagship character, then they might as well just shut down completely. I don't want to see anything after that. I just want them to just stop. But, yeah, the only thing that I think would make me happier than Spider-Man Homecoming is Spider-Man and Daredevil hanging out, broing out, just being bros. But, it's never going to happen because the movies and Netflix can't cross over because God hates me and he wants me to cry for the rest of my life. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed me basically rambling over this trailer. I know Albright usually does this, but this is my jurisdiction, Spider-Man. So, you know, like, comment, subscribe if you want to. That'd be wonderful. Go check out Albright's videos. Watch the other ones I've done, and I don't know. Get a hobby. What do the kids do nowadays? Get out your flip phone.